I'm going to start off this podcast in micro machine mode because we are so over time already and we haven't even finished recording the episode. I'm your host, Marcus. That's Amanda. Welcome to the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Podcast.liquidtrucking.com is the website. Go there if you like the podcast. Today we're talking about cooking in the cab, and now I can slow down a little bit. I just wanted to get the homework out, Amanda. Because this is a very important episode. A lot of truck drivers are trying to be healthier by cooking in the cab, and you are involved with something very cool called Project 61 that is all about getting drivers healthier. It involves our good friend of this show, Dr. Mark Manera. And other than that, I want you to take it away. Tell me about Project 61 and how drivers can get involved.
So Project 61 is a nonprofit organization, and their main goal is trying to get drivers healthier in a multitude of ways. And you can, of course, join the movement in a couple of ways. If you want to follow along while you're listening along, project-61.org. And they have an app as well, and it's the Project 61 Off Shift app. You can find it in any one of your app stores, whether your iPhone or those other phones. My husband has one, so we have that rivalry in the house. But anyway, you definitely want to get involved with this. So the thing that I find very interesting about Project 61 is the number 61 in particular. And that is the average life expectancy of a truck driver, which I find shocking and I find completely unacceptable considering the fact that the country couldn't run without these guys and gals. So, really somebody said, hey, this is a major problem. We need to try to do something to help this. So Project 61 has been absolutely amazing in helping in different ways. I mean, everything from, finding recipes, better ways to eat while you're on the road, but also helping you with workouts, helping you with making sure your mental health is where it's supposed to be. I mean, there's so many different elements to it, but Project 61 is like a companion to helping you live better. If you think about the fact that like I was saying, average life expectancy is 61 and you are eating a certain way, maybe instead of immediately changing everything that you're doing, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to add a piece of fruit every day. You're upping that life expectancy. Nobody's expecting people to immediately change everything, in one day. And if anything, that makes it harder to make that lifestyle change. Some of these drivers like Polar Bear, I've talked to you before about his health journey and the way that he's tried to eat better. And it really is, a day-by-day process. And every day, if you can make at least one better decision, that's going to help raise that life expectancy. Some of these guys talking about having diabetes and dealing with diabetes, and more truck drivers than any other profession in the United States have diabetes. And again, like I said, it's unacceptable. It's unfair. And, these guys, a lot of them are taking control and they're changing the way that they're eating, noticing the changes in what's available to them, or just saying, hey, you know what? I've had it. I'm getting older. I don't have the energy. I can't do what I want to do. And they're changing what they're doing. And they're honestly, some of them should probably have their own social media so that I can follow these recipes, because in the cab or out of the cab, some of the stuff they're making is absolutely incredible and life-changing without maybe necessarily knowing it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've actually followed a couple of groups on Facebook that are just kind of cooking in the cab groups, and I'll tell you, they blow me out of the water with some of the quality of food that they can make. And the guys that we're going to have on the show here today are no different. They make fantastic food in their trucks. And one of them that will join us a little bit later in the interview, Matt Kleich, he makes fantastic food out of the truck too. He's firing up the smoker after we talk to him today. So this is cool stuff. Now, you told me about the Project 61 Off Shift app. I just want to make sure and add one detail. That's absolutely free, correct?
Yes. And it's funny because one of the things that, and I'm going to say we say, since I'm involved with the folks at Project 61, is the funny thing about the app is it's free and we want you to use it every single day, unlike maybe your gym membership that costs you money and they hope you don't use it and just keep paying for it. So, if you're saying, hey, I want to make a change, but I have a hard enough time finding somewhere to park for my 10 hours, let alone making sure it's next to a gym, the Project 61 organization and the app in particular, I think would be a tremendous asset to any driver.
For sure. And shout out to Dr. Mark Manera. We've had him on this show plenty of times, and what you just said there is something that he said to us time and time again on this, is that incremental change is the best way to go about it. And the story I always come back to is his driver that drank 24 regular Pepsis a day.
Ooh.
And the way that he started to turn that guy around was 23 Pepsis and 1 Pepsi Max. And if there's no better illustration for incremental change than that anecdote, because that driver eventually, maybe he still does hammer 24 Pepsi Maxes a day, but he's not taking in 10,000 grams of sugar anymore, and that changed his life, and that's what Project 61 aims to do.
Absolutely.
Now, tell me a little bit about the entertainment side of Project 61, because we've got something in the works there too, right?
Yeah, we're working on a companion podcast, kind of working as a companion to the app. Everything from tips from Dr. Mark to, stories from other drivers of things that they've done or things that they've experienced. And, something that Project 61 talks about are the 5 axles of health. We really try to hit on every single one of those, and I talked about it, mentioned it briefly earlier. Mental health is one of those axles. It's definitely involved in that as well. And mental health ties right into how you're eating as well. Because I'm sorry, Marcus, I don't know about you, but if I've had a rough day, food makes me feel better. And that is not necessarily a good thing. So it all ties in together. But definitely, I think the thing that most people think about, and the thing they think about first when they're talking about trying to have a healthier lifestyle, is what they're eating.
Absolutely. I got friends that are on Wellbutrin and Adderall and, enter antidepressant here. And I always wonder, have you guys tried Tillamook ice cream right out of the tub? Don't even get a bowl. Don't even use a spoon. Dig it out with your fingers. It's really therapeutic. Do not take my advice. I am not a health professional. I'm just making jokes here, but that's great stuff. I want you all to go check out project-61.org. Check out the website. Download the app. Like Amanda said, it's free, and it's nothing but tips. If you are trying to get healthier, trying to eat better, trying to exercise more, that's going to help you sleep better. Your mental health is going to improve. Project 61 can help you with that, and it's all at no cost to you. It's just out of the goodness of Dr. Mark and Amanda's hearts over here. So, take it. When somebody's giving you something free, take it. Okay, so that's great. Thank you for giving us that info. We will talk more about Project 61 into the future once the podcast and everything launches. Got to get Dr. Mark back in here sometime in the future to talk about it. So I appreciate that info. We got to get our drivers in here now. This next segment, just so you guys know, it's going to focus on the drivers that cook in their cabs. We'll talk about what they're cooking. We'll talk about why they decided to make the change, which kind of connects back into what we were just talking about with Project 61. It's always fun talking about food because I'm what you would consider a foodie, which I think every human, to a certain extent, Amanda, is a foodie, right? Because if not, death, that whole thing.
If they're not, I think it's considered an eating disorder. So
yeah, right. So, but we want to ask some serious questions here, and you'll hear a couple of drivers talk about turning their health around to an extent because they decided to cook in the cab. So let's get them in here right now.
Welcome to the gold standard of podcasts for the gold standard of drivers. This is the Liquid Trucking Podcast with your host, Marcus Bridges.
All right, welcome back in here to the Liquid Trucking Podcast. Amanda, you were mentioning that this is going to be a tough segment for you. What's going on over there?
All right, literally, I was inspired. First of all, I was inspired by the thought of this episode, so I decided today I would plan a crock pot dinner that will finish just at the same time that we're supposed to be finishing today. However, I didn't think about the fact that I would have to smell it the whole time that it's cooking.
So you're just being tortured right now.
So I was already hungry, and then you texted me a bunch of pictures of food that one of these fine gentlemen made, and then my stomach started to growl in that way that I was like, I think the microphone is picking up my growling stomach right now. It sounds like the Cookie Monster is hiding underneath of my desk. It's rough, but you know what? I'm willing to take one for the Liquid team and talk about food today, okay? Just for you guys.
Do not mute your mic during this interview, because if it actually does pick up your stomach growling, I want Mike to leave it in. That is, Mike, Orders are, leave it in. Let's welcome our drivers in here today, see if we can get their stomachs growling as well. We've got two gentlemen joining us. First off, please welcome back to the show a regular here on the Liquid Trucking Podcast. His name is Polar Bear. What's good out there, Polar Bear? Thanks for being here, man.
Well, like I always say, thank you for having me on. I'm always appreciative. I think that's the word when you get me on here.
Well,
Enjoy, bring in my 2 bits, however you say it.
2 bits. I like it. Well, listen, man, you're always welcome on this show, and I know that in your experience out there on the road, you have done a lot of cooking on the road, so you're a perfect person to have here joining us today. And it's funny because I actually was reaching out to Jason Krahenhagen about getting on the show at the same time that I was reaching out to Matt Kleich about getting on the show. Now, those of you that were at the 3rd annual Liquid Trucking Jamboree will remember that Matt and Jason were 2 of the guys that were manning the pit that day, and they were cooking a bunch of meat for everybody. Well, Jason admitted to me, he said, listen, I love the barbecue cooking and stuff like that, but out on the road, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of a fast food junkie. I don't do a lot of cooking in the cab, so I might not be the right guy for you. And then he sent me 5 pictures that I've just sent to you, Amanda, that you referenced there off the top, of like this amazing fish dish that is the quality of which I could not put together in my kitchen with all of the trappings of a normal kitchen. And I got to thank Jason Krahenhagen for pointing this next gentleman out to me that's also joining us today, making his first appearance on the show. We've got something of a culinary expert here in Jeramie Countryman. Jeramie, thanks for being here, man. Everybody's going to be able to see those pictures of your amazing meal at podcast.liquidtrucking.com as soon as this episode launches, man. Thanks for being here, and wow is all I have to say.
Yes, thank you for having me on here, and I'm far from an expert on cooking.
Man, I don't know. We'll dig into that a little deeper. I've seen the pictures, and I also found out too that I was in a picture with you. You were in the picture of all of us at out by the what was it? By the truck or by the porta potties out there, right?
Well, both, yeah, the semi and the porta potty, yeah, the picture of us.
Yep. So that's on my Facebook page. If you want to go see it, we're all looking good out there. I got my Bulldog jersey on, so glad to have you here.
I was just going to say something really quick, Marcus. Sorry to interrupt you. You're always about when we call somebody something else. You know, we have one for Jeramie too.
Okay.
We call him Gravy.
Gravy. And is that, Jeramie, tell me about how much you like that name, because, you know, I have a CB handle too. It's Never Shuts Up. It's real on the nose, and sometimes, you know, I'm okay with it, and other times I'm like, hey, I feel like that was underhanded. What do you think about your nickname Gravy?
It kind of stuck. My last name's Countryman, so it kind of went with Country Gravy. That's how
That's how I started it, yeah.
I see.
Oh, more food.
Yeah, a little peek behind the curtain of how these things get bestowed. Now, Amanda doesn't have one yet, so we're just remember that we are looking for one for her. So if something comes up and one of you guys can bestow her a CB handle like you did for me, by all means, you guys go ahead. I'm giving you the green light. I don't care what she thinks. Sorry, Amanda.
Wow. Well, I want a ceremony, okay? Like being knighted. You can call me whatever you want as long as I get a ceremony with it. I will put my happy butt in the car and drive out to Liquid to make this happen.
Well, man, I don't know. I will tell you that it was very unceremonious when they gave it to me. I said, what do you guys think my nickname would be? And one of them said, Never Shuts Up. And that was the end of it. It was in concrete right there. So I don't want you to hold your breath for the big ceremony, but it will be a fun name whenever it happens. Okay, guys. Well, you know why we're here today. We are obviously here to talk about cooking in the cab. And it's been a while since we've done one of these episodes, and I kind of wanted to approach this one a little bit differently because we know that you guys are cooking in the cab. We're going to talk about some of your favorite recipes here. We're going to share some tips and talk about your setup and everything. I want to start off with asking you some questions about why you started to cook in the cab in the first place. One thing about the truck stops and all of the drive-thrus, well, drive-thrus aren't really good for you guys, but fast food restaurants are pretty conveniently located. We got DoorDash and everything now. They'll bring it right to the door of your truck. It's really convenient to eat poorly out on the road. So Polar Bear, starting with you, first of all, when did you make the decision that you weren't just going to eat garbage out there on the road? And why did you make that decision? Was there a breaking point?
Yeah, basically. I'm gonna say I've probably been cooking, I call it religiously, out of my truck. I would say 12 to 15 years. And, you know, like I always bring up, back in the day, you could go in and get something to eat, even off the menu, the buffet. You could go in and easily in an hour eat something, you know, BS, throw true stories around the horseshoe there, you know, fill up your coffee mug and keep it going. You know, it was just so convenient back then.
There's not as many cafes and things like that serving food that you would consider nutritious adjacent, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everything they get is pre-made, which,
Exactly.
guess what, is made with all the nitrates, and that is so awesome for our bodies.
For sure, for sure. So were you at a point when you decided to start cooking out of the truck that you're kind of seeing the transition of the cafes going away? And also, were there some health concerns? Anything that you were thinking, like, maybe I should just be eating better so that I can live longer and drive more miles? Anything like that?
Oh, definitely. All of it together. Yeah, I gained weight and just knowing what's all in everything. And then as everything gets more expensive, the price, we had to pay a lot of our own, those tolls. We got reimbursed for them, but a lot of times we had to pay the tolls back then. So I'm leaving with, you know, at least $200, if not $300 a week. So I didn't have to get the cash advance. And then you see everything that's pre-made, and it's like, well, I can make that a lot better. And then, you know, I started off with, but we didn't have the inverters like we do now either.
Right.
I started off with they call it a lunchbox oven. Looks like an old style black lunchbox. Flip it open. That's exactly what it looks like. Put a tin in it, and it's just like an oven. It gets up to, I think, 400 degrees. So,
Wow.
like, I would put a piece of chicken breast along with some taters and carrots and onions, and then set it about an hour and a half before I'm parking, and it would all be done by the time you get there.
And that sounds really good, but the fact that trucking tech has come as far as it has, these guys have full kitchen setups in their cabs now, Amanda. It's wild to hear about some of the stuff that they get in there.
I was looking up some back in the day, maybe pre-CDL cooking, and people were doing something called manifold cooking, and it's literally exactly
manifold cooking.
Yes, everything you think it is. That can of SpaghettiOs, you know, sticking it right in that manifold and heat it up.
I will admit to you, it's one thing that I have done. We were actually, we didn't cook the food there, but we warmed it. We were driving out to like a campsite in my buddy's 81 Ford, and we took some cold pizza and wrapped it in a bunch of foil and just threw it under the hood. And by the time we got to where we were going, it was nice and warm.
I love it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was you going hunting?
Well, we weren't going hunting at that time, but we were headed out to hunting grounds for sure.
Yeah, that's what I figured. If you ever had done it, would have been that, hunting or out in the woods.
Yep, for sure. Jeramie, I want to bring you in here on this conversation, man. Kind of the same thing I asked Polar Bear. When did you decide to start cooking in the cab, and what were kind of some of the deciding factors that made you say, you know what, I can do this here, and I could probably save some money and be healthier as well?
Well, I've been driving about 15 years or so. I've been cooking in the truck, most of that off and on. I think last year I was diagnosed with diabetes, so I started cooking more in the truck, and not just cooking more, but cooking healthier options like fish. So I don't buy fish at the grocery store. I order it. I have it sent to the house, and then I put it in the freezer.
Where do you order your fish from? I want to know. Get me hip.
It's I think it's called Wild Alaska Company. They're out of Alaska.
Yep.
Obviously.
If they weren't, I'd be very disappointed for sure.
Yeah, Wild Alaska, located in Vermont. We'll send you some fish. It's just from the other ocean. That's great, man. That's smart. And you know, something you guys have to do out there, like, I don't think about this, but I can buy some of the freshest salmon that you can get your hands on at any grocery store that I go to down here. And I don't think about the fact that you landlocked Midwesterners don't necessarily have that privilege. The fish doesn't stay fresh all the way until it gets to the counters that you guys are shopping at.
Especially in Iowa. Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. You don't live in Iowa, Nebraska, and Missouri, and
no, but I live in Ohio. When I moved here from Connecticut, the first time I saw a restaurant that had a fresh seafood sign, I laughed so hard. I'm like, fresh what? What do they mean? What do they even mean right now?
Yeah. One of the first times I was out there in Omaha, the big expensive restaurant that we went to for like the business, because there was a bunch of us that were out there, 4 or 5 of us, and our CEO Grant took us to sushi. And I was like, we are in the furthest place from sushi. I don't know if you can pinpoint a place further from sushi in the United States of America. Like Omaha is literally right in the center. Yeah.
Right.
It wasn't bad sushi, but I gotta be honest with you, I was a little bit nervous because I'm just wondering, like, how long was it on a truck before it got on my plate? So, Jeramie, you were about to say something there, and we interrupted you. Please go ahead, man. You were talking about buying fish from Wild Alaska out there. Do you stay away from the fish at the supermarkets in the Northwest because of what we were just talking about there?
The fish, when I lived in Washington, my father had a boat. We used to go out and go fishing.
Awesome.
Off the Straits of Juan de Fuca.
Oh, yeah.
But if we weren't fishing, a lot of times we'd go down to Seattle and we'd buy fish right off of the dock.
Yep. Yeah, it's so cool.
You could take coolers down there, and you couldn't buy fish for like just the cost of it down there was so cheap.
Yep, and really right off the boat. I mean, it's so cool to see because, my dad for a while worked at a fishing company in Newport, Oregon, where he was actually the guy that was cleaning the fish coming off the boat. And, I mean, just the fact that it's like it gets cleaned and it goes on ice and it's for sale like minutes later. That's the way you want to do fish, right, Jeramie? I mean, Seattle's one of the best places. You ever have them huck a salmon at you down at Pike's Place?
Yes. I am not very good at catching fish.
Nobody is, man, and you don't expect that thing to be a 30-pounder when it comes flying through the air at you either.
Use your mouth, man. You're supposed to use your hands.
Using
like
your
a bear catching a salmon, yeah.
Yeah, using your mouth down there, that's express sushi, man. That's as fast as you can get it. That's great. Well, I like the fact that you have this fish knowledge and you like to cook fish, Jeramie, because I'm just, as I said, being a lifelong Pacific Northwesterner, whenever I hear people in the Midwest talking about fish, I'm wondering what kind of brown trout they've been going after, and I'm glad to hear you coming out here with some Alaska caught salmon, man. Talk to me a little bit about that dish. If you guys want to go over to podcast.liquidtrucking.com right now, if this episode is launched, which that's the only way you can listen to it, these pictures that Jeramie's about to discuss this meal will be up there, and we'll also share the recipe that he followed as well. But walk me through the dish, Jeramie. That looked really good, dude.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. That was actually a whitefish dish, but I didn't have any whitefish, and it's one of my favorite fish dishes that I've made. And so I tried it with salmon, and it turned out really good. I did cook it a little too long. I have a gas grill, and I cooked it just a little too long in there. So with the oils and the tomatoes and the onions and everything in there, it still had quite a bit of moisture in it, but it was a little bit drier than what I would have liked.
Sure. That's okay though. Yeah. You learn, right? You live and learn on that one.
It looks so good though. Right. Oh my gosh.
And with salmon, I put a little bit too much oil in it too. You guys can see that from the pictures, but yeah, it was still good. I used extra virgin olive oil, which is really good for you. Everything in there is really good for you.
You got lots of healthy fats. The olives are a healthy fat. The olive oil is a healthy fat. It looks incredibly good for you and delicious. And what time should I be over for dinner?
right?
Right.
Now, Jeramie, I want to talk to you a little bit about you talked about getting diagnosed with diabetes. I understand it. My dad's diabetic. I know that there can be some pretty heavy dietary restrictions, or at least some tips that you want to follow here. Obviously, with these pictures that you sent us, that's a very healthy meal with the salmon and all the vegetables. How are your results with the meals that you're cooking in the cab? Are you losing weight? Are you feeling better? Do you have more energy? How's this been going for you since you started?
The sugar levels come down. The weight really hasn't, but a lot of that's just because I still overeat. I'm still working on that.
Mhm.
A lot of the healthy food is pretty light. And when you go from eating fast food to some of the healthier stuff, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
So now I do eat a lot of sardines. I have cans of sardines in here too.
Interesting.
Which are really good for you, and those are just something quick. Stuff like that helps keep me out of the truck stop.
Sure. How do you deal with the salt bomb of the sardines, though? Because that's the one thing about sardines for me is always just, man, these are so salty. You just constantly slamming water alongside of those things?
Water, and I'll put, like, the sardines I have water in them. So I'll dump out the water, and then I'll put Tabasco in with it, and then eat them with the Tabasco.
I like it.
Yeah, use it as a dip. Yep.
Okay. Living dangerously out there. I like it, man. No better place to dump Tabasco into a tin of sardines than in the cab of a truck, man. Come on.
I gotta try it now. I've never had sardines in my life, but now I'm gonna try them exactly like that. Actually, now I have to find the cab of a truck to be in to try it, because if I need the full experience, you know what I mean? Like, we gotta go the whole way.
Well, I feel like people that are yours and my age, Amanda, kind of got turned off of sardines by the Ninja Turtles, because, look, sardines are fine. You wouldn't catch me dead putting them on a pizza. That's the one place that's like, I know that you can get them on pizza, but why would you do that when they're fine out of the tin by themselves, little hot sauce? I always thought that the only place you could get sardines growing up as a kid was on pizza, until somebody handed me a tin when I was like 17. And I was like, oh, I thought that these things actually just jumped out of the ocean onto pizza. I did not know that you could just have a naked sardine, you know? And they're pretty good. I'll be honest with you. It's pretty good. I mean, I don't know. Jeramie, you eat a lot of them. You speak to it.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess the biggest thing I focus on is what's in it, the water. So
Okay.
I don't buy them with soy oil or anything.
Okay.
And I only get the sardines. I have tried a few of the cans of the fillets with tomato sauce in it.
Uh-huh.
They're okay. I don't think they're as healthy.
Right. I don't think so either. Lots of salt. They're going to add a lot of salt. Anytime there's a flavor added, it's going to come with salt or sugar. You gotta expect that.
And liquid.
Right.
Yeah, and
sorry, go ahead.
salt's better for you than, well, at least in my case. Salt, I can drink a lot of water to help with the salt.
Right.
The sugar is what I have to stay away from. So the soda, the delicious donuts with your coffee, all the candy. I mean, there's so many things that I don't know if a lot of people realize. So many things that have sugar in it. Things you don't realize have sugar in it have sugar.
Yeah. There's one example that I think of. Recently, my dad had some complications that were sort of stemming from a bunch of different things, but it came down to the fact that he had to adjust his diet. And when they really started to break down what he was eating, they found that even though he was making some good decisions, they weren't the best decisions for somebody that was diabetic. Like in the morning, my dad would eat a bowl of plain Cheerios, like no honey nut, no apple jack, none of that, just the plain Cheerios. But there's a lot of carbs in that, and even though they're telling you they're not sweetened, there's sugar in those as well. And that was a big part of, like, I mean, who's going to tell a guy not to eat a bowl of naked Cheerios in the morning? That's like one of the most, if you're not eating Wheaties or grape nuts, Cheerios is like right next there on the board, and it turned out to be not a good decision. And so I think now the poor guy eats like a couple hard-boiled eggs and some baby carrots for breakfast. Like it was a serious change. So What you're saying there, I've experienced it secondhand, Jeramie, and you're right. It's the sugar's hidden everywhere. You really have to break down those nutrition facts on the back of products to see what you're actually getting, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's when I first started cooking the fish, I was putting them with rice and stuff, and then I finds out later on that, well, if you're diabetic, rice, potatoes, bread, you can't have that stuff. I didn't realize rice turns to sugar.
Yep. All the good stuff, man.
Starch.
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
All the good stuff gets taken away from you diabetics, and I feel so bad for you. Because, listen, my wife's been gone for almost a week now. She's on vacation. I've eaten nothing but carbs. I have not touched a vegetable in 4 days, and it's terrible. Like, she literally makes me a better person because I will make vegetables for dinner when she's around. But when it's just me, I'm like, I don't even care about you. That's just me looking in the mirror. But it's interesting, man. I'm glad that you're taking care of yourself. And you know what I think that my dad's found, Jeramie, and what you've probably found is all you got to do is educate yourself. There's still plenty of really delicious food you can make yourself, right?
Yes, absolutely.
What are some of the favorite dishes that you've discovered since your diabetes diagnosis that you're just like, man, this is amazing and it's so good for me? Obviously, the Mediterranean fish dish, that's one of them. Are there any others that you'd like to share with the listeners today?
Yeah, I do a lot of salmon. So I have a skillet. It was a 12-inch skillet in the truck, and I'll put a fillet of salmon in there, and then I'll basically cover it with garlic. A lot of people that don't like garlic, they're probably not going to like it, but it is one of my favorite salmon dishes that I do. Toward the end of it cooking, I'll put a little bit of lemon juice on it, and it's really good.
Really brightens it up a little bit, that lemon. I never knew when I was a kid why there was a slice of fresh lemon with all the seafood, and I always heard it was to cleanse the palate. No, man, squirt that shit on your fish. It makes it so much better. It just does amazing things for it. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing those. I know that there's other drivers out there struggling with their health. We talked about Project 61 a little bit in the open for this episode, so I get it, and I'm glad that you're out there making the decisions. Polar Bear, I wonder, as you've been sitting here listening to Jeramie, you talked about the health benefits of cooking in the cab before on this show. What are some of the more healthy meals that you like to make out there on the road, trying to keep yourself at a manageable level of health?
Yeah, health, however you want to say it. Pretty much like I've said it before, I lost my dad early, so I had just my mom when I was younger, so I learned how to cook a lot. And like I make one of my favorite things I like to make is I either make beef stew or I put in Alfredo sauce, and I make beef stew with like chicken Alfredo. Then I'll just put some noodles in with it and chicken, Pretty much everything I make, all the vegetables are the same. I get green pepper, onion, mushrooms, carrots. That's kind of all that I do. And then I just get them fresh and cut them up.
And are you just kind of adding that medley of vegetables to every dinner? That's kind of like, that's just how you get the veggies in, or you kind of,
that's it.
In the stew, obviously, those are great vegetables to just mix into your stew, right?
Right. And a lot of it is so, like the other thing I like to do, and I did it last weekend, is make chili. So then Sunday night's always when I make it. And I make the chili, and for the same as Jeramie, I'm diabetic. So I put in if I can get it, just a big can of beans, and then I put in 4 cans of tomatoes along with all my I put the same thing, my green pepper, onion, mushrooms, and the chili too. And then, so when I'm done, I put at least 3 freezer bags in the freezer. That way, it's like, oh man, what do I have tonight? It's 2 p.m. You can thaw chili pretty easy. And then I just go to Love's and get 2 dogs and I bring it back to Polar Bear's kitchen and make Polar Bear's chili dogs.
Oh yeah, man. That sounds great.
Because I'm always warming up the chili in there, and they're like, well, that smells good. And I'm like, well, it's going to be with your 2 hot dogs that I'm going to meet with my chili. They're like, that's your chili? And I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't eat yours out of that bag.
Yeah,
Nope.
right. Yours
I like
smells
my
like
own.
yeah, yours smells like dog food. Did you notice how it smelled good when I brought different chili in here? Like
Yeah.
that's the way it goes. I love it, man. I love me a good chili. I've shared my tailgate chili recipe on this show before. That is an award-winning chili. I'm the chili champ by Coastal Media 2008. Wear it with pride. And can call it that's my radio nickname was Buster Ass Marcus. So it's Buster Ass Marcus's Thunder from Down Under tailgate chili. And again, it's award-winning, and I'm sure yours is too. I'm sure if Love's gave out an award for the guy who brought in the best chili to warm it up in our microwave, you'd be getting that award, Polar Bear.
Well, and I think part of it too is with the vegetables in it. You know, I think onion is doable, maybe mushrooms too, but the green pepper, I couldn't really, you know, unless you're, you know, chopping up like a jalapeno,
Right.
but that kind. But mine's just green pepper.
Gotcha.
And depending on what I make is like when I put it in my chili, I chop them up fine, like you're feeding a toddler. When I do it in my stew, I make them bigger chunks. Then
Sure.
I don't cut them up as small.
Right.
See?
I want to
And
talk.
I'm only cooking for me too. But there has been, I bet you there's been over a dozen drivers that I've either cooked for or with, or Jeramie and I got a good one. But yeah, if I see you over there, I'm gonna invite you if I do, because I always make more than enough.
That's awesome.
I never have been good at making meals for one person, you know.
It sucks, man. I feel like making meals for one can just get depressing after a while. You want to share a meal, break some bread with somebody, you know? That makes sense. It's a lonely job you guys do out there, and I love that you have that camaraderie kind of built in at Liquid Trucking. You know, it's funny, we had Bert Morris on the show for our Mother's Day episode, and Bert had just been out in the same at the same project that Matt Kleich was out on. And I mentioned to Bert that Matt was probably going to join us for this episode. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it. But one thing Bert said is, why the hell didn't he make me breakfast? I was standing out there. I was hungry. He likes to cook. Why didn't he make me breakfast? I don't know. We're going to have to ask him next time. But
Well,
you guys are always out there sharing alike, man. I think that's awesome. Jeramie, you get into some of that too with the other Liquid drivers that you see out there on the road? Are you guys sharing meals or sharing tips or sharing crock pots, anything like that?
Yeah. Polar Bear and I actually picked up a load in California together, and we ran it all the way. I think that went to Illinois.
Yep.
Yeah, we ran together that whole time, and we shut down just on the other side of Missouri and in Illinois, and we cooked. Was that Saturday we cooked, and then we cooked Sunday morning, or I guess technically you cooked Sunday morning, but we cooked Saturday evening together.
Well, what'd you guys have?
We put
Come
our
on.
minds together and well, he bought what he wanted, I bought what I wanted, but it had both of us involved. And so Jeramie, going ahead, Jeramie, start with how you cook, what you started with.
Yeah, I just took a can of baked beans and I put it in one of those tins like you see the fish in, and put a little bit of oil in it so they wouldn't stick. And then I seared a steak on both sides, cut it up, and threw it inside, and then cooked the steak with the baked beans. Added a little bit of seasoning. Kleich has some salt and pepper that that I bought off him a while back, and I used that in the Bush's baked beans with a little bit of cayenne pepper.
Would that be the Bully barbecue or Pitbull barbecue smoked salt and pepper?
Yes. Yep.
Got myself 2 bottles of that here at my house, so I am familiar, my friend.
From former Petty Spice,
Yep. So steak on the beans there, the seared steak, and you got a little bit of seasoning in there. And then what did you do with that? Did you put that in the, like, cover it, put it on the grill and cover it, or how'd you cook it then?
Yeah, so I have this little gas grill, and I put it. I think I made 2 tins of it. cut up a steak in half and put a can in each tin with a half a steak in each of the tins, and cooked it with the baked beans. But I like to sear it before.
We seared the steak first.
Got to.
Before you put it in.
Lock in that flavor, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, I don't know about you, Amanda, but I'm trying it.
Listen, that one sounds nice and
beans.
easy because I have seen a truck driver that was searing a tomahawk steak in his cab. Like, I am not trying to have that kind of trouble in my life.
Right. We haven't even talked about what can go wrong cooking in the cab yet, but joining us here for just a few minutes at the end of this is a guy that we were hoping was going to get to join us, and that's Matt Kleich. Matt, welcome into the show, man. I'm sorry we weren't able to have you for the whole time, but you've got some stuff going on at your house, and it's just you're being very generous with your time, even being here for the short amount of time that you are going to be here. So thanks for stopping by, dude.
Well, thanks for having me.
I do have to clear one thing up. We actually just talked about this.
Get it done. Yell at him.
We had Bert Morris on the podcast for our Mother's Day episode, and I happened to mention in passing, Kleich, that I was going to have you on for our Cooking in the Cab episode, and he got pretty hot under the collar that he'd just been on a job with you, and you didn't make him breakfast. What the? And he said, I want you to ask him, what the hell, man? So there. That.
Well, you know, I'm not IHOP, you know.
I mean, you could be if you just.
I mean, I could be, but you know, I'm not. You know, and you know, there's stuff that Bert says that's probably behind the scenes that is well due for another episode.
Yeah, man, we could get 3 episodes out of Bert if we did everything we talk about before and after the interview as well, but that's the problem, is it would just be kind of a series of bleeps and stuff that I've got to cut out because we can't stay above board when we've got the mics off, me and that guy. So
yeah, Bert's a hell of a good guy, and yeah, we spent a whole week running together this last week, and we were all busy, you know.
Yeah.
We only got to meet up one time, so it was busy.
Well, maybe next time you get to meet up one time on a busy week like that, bring pancakes, okay? It's just a suggestion from me, that's all.
So that works for me. I'll make sure he gets what he wants.
And you won't spit in it either.
The man is coming over to my house tomorrow night, and I am just getting ready to fire up to do some pulled pork. And we've got homemade potato salad, getting ready, baked beans and everything for tomorrow.
That sounds awesome. Here's what I want you to do for me. For me, I want you to make Bert 1 over easy egg right before everybody else eats, and then when it's time for the spread, you can hand Bert breakfast. 1 over easy egg. You say, there, I made you some breakfast.
Right, there's your breakfast.
There you go. Well, Kleich, real quick, some of the stuff. Let me catch you up here. I've been talking to Jeramie and Polar Bear about, you know, what kind of made the switch for them. Like, when was it that they decided to start cooking in the cab? You have been involved with cooking, competition, barbecue, stuff like that for a long time. Was there a breaking point in trucking for you when you started cooking in the cab, or did you show up, get in the truck, and immediately start making all your food on the road as well?
No, like Polar Bear, I bet you him and I are pretty similar. You know, back in the day, you'd run down and you could stop at a Denny's or an IHOP or a Waffle House and whatnot and get a decent meal. You know, Flying J, Petra, you could get a decent meal. It probably wasn't until the last, I'd say 9-10 years that we really concentrated on cooking in the truck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of when it happened for me. It's just too expensive, and, well, honestly, the food that's out there is kind of garbage.
Yeah, no question there. And I mean, look, Jeramie kind of said it, like, you're out there looking at some of the garbage, and you think, man, I can make that myself. I can probably make it better, and I could probably save a few bucks for the privilege as well. And you guys all know your way around the kitchen, so you're probably right. It is going to taste better when you make it. What are some of the Anything that you've really liked lately, Kleich, is you've shared a lot of recipes with us here on this show. And by the way, the smoked salt and pepper got a shout out from both Jeramie and myself, so thank you for that.
Oh, that's cool. Appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Use it all the time. But what are you excited about making right now out on the road? Anything specific?
The Korean barbecue thing has been kind of a kicker for me lately.
Korean barbecue. Amanda, this is nothing
Walk
that
me
I would
through
ever
that.
expect somebody that was cooking in the cab to mention, but Kleich is the guy to do it. So, yeah, talk us through it.
I had some Korean barbecue chicken and Korean barbecue sliced pork. I bought it, and I just kind of added it up a little bit, and it's getting better as I do it in the truck. Every time you do it, it gets a little bit better. Now, you guys, Marcus, we know that me and Polar Bear, we kind of prep a little bit when we're at home.
Right.
But you start working with this kind of stuff, and Korean barbecue's got a flavor all of its own, you know?
Yep.
So it's kind of one of those things. It's like, once you start getting a flavor for it, it's like, okay, there's barbecue, and everybody loves a good barbecue. And then there's Korean barbecue. It's like, well, it just kind of changes up the whole idea of it. And so I'm just starting to work with it a little bit, and I just had some this last week out on the road, and so I'm just kind of dabbling in it right now. You know, there's just more than the good old barbecue that we always get. You know,
Absolutely. And Korean barbecue is, I think, one of the great unsung heroes of the barbecue world. You know, you're not going to expect that a red-blooded American like myself would ever say that any barbecue could stand on the same pedestal that American barbecue and all sorts of different regions of American barbecue can stand on. But no, I really enjoy Korean barbecue. Like Korean wings, I mean, even Thai wings. Like if I'm at a Thai place and I don't want to absolutely explode my sinuses with some pad Thai that's really hot, I will get the Thai chicken wings. They're phenomenal. If you are a fan of chicken wings, you should try every chicken wing that they make, and the Korean barbecue ones and the Thai ones are phenomenal.
Yep. Yeah, there's just something different about it that works, you know, when it comes to that. It's like, you know, everybody knows American barbecue. We've had the big talks about, you know, Texas and all over the place. But, you know, Korean barbecue is good on shrimp, lobster, fish. I mean, it's just an all-around good barbecue.
And I'm wondering how many of your competition friends are going to hear you saying this right now and come for you after this because, you know, you might be something of a purist yourself the way you got that trailer smoker and a team of people to smoke enough meat for hundreds of people. But are they going to be okay with you talking Korean barbecue this positively?
Well, so I'm going to do Korean barbecue at the next competition on my ribs.
Nice. Okay. All right. That's what I like to hear. You're perfecting it out there on the road.
We're gonna change it up. You know, I do the mustard, I do all that, but there's just the Korean side of it. You know, I can do a little bit more. You know, I can put shrimp on top of it. You know, pierce the ribs, put shrimp on top of it. You know, you can use a little bit of fish oil with it because they do. You know, it just dynamics. It comes down to dynamics.
Yep.
So that's kind of what we're looking for is dynamic.
It certainly does, man. I love listening to you guys talk about the way that you just kind of experiment with it and figure it out there on the road. And Amanda, this next part that I'm very excited actually to field these next questions to these guys because I know, and Amanda, I'm sure you know, you spend a lot of time in the kitchen as well. You're the main cook for your family. Things go wrong in the kitchen all the time. And this can be things from, oops, I spilled the sauce, to oops, I'm in the emergency room. There's a lot that can go wrong in the kitchen.
Things going wrong in the kitchen is the main reason that I am the main cook for the household. It's not that other people aren't willing. It's what could happen if they set foot in there. My husband thinks, for example, if you turn up the temperature, things will cook faster. That's how you get it to go quicker.
They'll burn faster, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Apparently he likes all his food Cajun.
Well, and you know, he's got the right expertise to be the person that cooks with the hot oven, right?
Yes.
Put that fire out is what I'm saying.
Stay out.
So, but guys, you add in the fact that your kitchens are all mobile. And, you know, Polar Bear's talked about cooking in a crock pot. That's 4 to 6 to 7 hours sometimes that stuff's got to go. You know, I wonder, Do you guys have stories about culinary masterpieces coming together and then maybe a hard break, maybe a little bit of liquid surge, maybe somebody causes you to have to swerve a little bit? What types of things have gone wrong in your culinary adventures? Polar Bear, we'll start with you.
I was just getting ready to say, like the first time I made beef stew in there and forgot to put it up against my gear shifter, and when it tipped over, it leaned up against my gear shifter. I didn't lose all the meat, the vegetables, all that in there, but I definitely lost all the liquid.
Oh God!
Bummer.
And
Going down the road.
did it pour into the floorboards on the driver's side or passenger side?
Oh yeah, it went everywhere. Because I keep carpets down to kind of make my home look like my home. Got carpets. It's not all the rubber flooring.
Yeah.
I try to take somewhat good care of my 6x8 cell.
Well, and
I just get to decide when I go to recess.
I'm sure that anybody that opened up the cab of your truck that next week was probably like, where did you get the beef jerky scented air freshener? That's amazing.
It's funny,
All right.
too, the thought of the truck being compared to being in a cell. And Marcus, you and I come from an industry where they put us in a padded room. So
Yes,
I think we all
same
get
thing.
along really well for that exact reason.
Yeah. Good point there, man. A good point. How about you, Jeramie? Have you ever had something go catastrophically wrong while you're trying to cook out on the road? It sounds like you do most of your cooking when you're stopped, but walk us through it if anything's ever kind of fallen apart on you.
Yeah, it was kind of silly. I didn't have one of the legs locked on the grill
Oh, no.
when I was cooking, and the leg came out, and all my hot dogs that I had sitting on the grill rolled off into the dirt.
That's
I had
the
to go
saddest
back.
thing I've ever heard. Oh, my God. Not the hot dogs.
Oh, man.
Right,
You got to put
luckily,
it.
I had another pack of hot dogs in the truck.
Okay, good. I was going to say, if not, I'm looking for a garden hose to rinse my hot
Right.
dogs off, and I'm taking them back to the grill, right?
10-second rule.
Well, I don't know what's on the ground at the truck stop.
This is true.
Good point.
Yeah,
Uh,
very good.
Kleich, next up, man, when things go wrong, what happened?
So Polar Bear knows about these. They're little 12-volt ovens, and they look like a little lunchbox.
Yep.
Well, I was doing I think it was a piece of pork in there with some veggies, and when I went to lift it up, it's got a little handle at the top. Well, I forgot to latch it, and when I lifted it up, it just spilled on my floor.
Oh,
No.
the whole meal just done for.
The whole meal. No, I ate it.
There you go, because you know what's on the floor of your
Waste
truck,
not,
right?
want not.
More than a second rule there.
Yeah, that's right.
Matter of fact, it was just recently after Polar Bear gave me all the aluminum inserts for it. He's like, I got all these, pick them up from my truck, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And we did. And like I said, I just forgot to latch it. It's got one of them little clasp latches on it, and I lifted it up and all over the floor.
Oh, man, that sucks. That sucks. I've got a similar one, and I think maybe we've told it before, but it's been a long time. So we were out at our tailgate, and one of my best friends from Seattle, his wife, sweetest woman in the world, but she is incredibly germophobic. Like, I've seen her prepare food, and I'm telling you, if she didn't wash her hands 30 times making dinner, I would be surprised. Just very worried about all the things that can go wrong from a cross-contamination standpoint. And you got to remember, when you're at a tailgate, we're cooking outside. This is
Right.
camping more than it is having a kitchen. And I had a little Coleman gas grill at the time, and we were making a tri-tip on it. So it had been on there for a while. We'd seared it, then we'd had it running for a while. We got it, we wrapped it, we unwrapped it, we had it back on just to get one final little cook on it, and I grabbed it with the tongs, and I went to put it on a plate, and my tongs did that thing where they slip sideways in your hands and basically just open up, and I
No.
dropped this full tri-tip flat on the grass out there. And what was funny is my buddy and I, the one with the germophobic wife, he was helping me. He was like everybody's got a grill sidekick, right? You can't just sit there and look at meat on a grill without a buddy to talk about it with. And he was my buddy. I pulled it off. That thing fell on the ground, and both of our heads snapped over to look at his wife, and she had her back to us. And he goes, get the cutting board. And I grabbed the cutting board. He grabbed with his bare hands this tri-tip and slapped it on the cutting board. And we took our sharpest knife and cut like the bottom 1/8 inch off of it and just threw it away and cleaned everything up, peeled all the grass. Nobody was the wiser. Nobody knows to this day until I'm telling the story on a podcast. But sometimes you gotta work quick in a kitchen if you want to salvage it for everybody, because here's what I know is that woman would not have eaten anything off of that table that day if she'd have seen that tri-tip hit the ground, but she went to the game with a full belly, so I feel like we did her a favor,
That was a win.
That was a win, right? And I told you guys off the top that I would tell you about why I have trouble with fish, because Jeramie has made this awesome Mediterranean salmon dish. You guys can check out pictures of it online, podcast.liquidtrucking.com. It's amazing. The recipe that he followed will be up there too. But Jeramie, I'm going to come to you after I tell this story, because you eat a lot of fish, and I want to know what it does to your insides when I tell you. So I was, maybe 12, and my dad had gone out steelhead fishing and caught fresh steelhead out of the Grand Ronde River, brought it home and made it that night, and it was great. I love the flavor of it. It's got that bright kind of orangish pink color, a lot like salmon. And we're eating, and all of a sudden I feel like a little bit of, like I got a sore throat coming on. Like, how that's always the feeling you have. You're taking a swallow of food or maybe a drink of something, and you feel that scratchy the very first time, and you think, God damn it, I'm getting sick. Well, I took my next bite, and it hurt worse. And I took my next bite, and it hurt a lot worse. And I'm thinking, this doesn't feel like a sore throat anymore. What's going on? Well, I had my dad go ahead and take a peek down the old gullet, see what was up. Because, it's like an old Chevy, right? You got to check for spark, you got to check for fuel, you got to check for air. We're going to check the first thing first, right? I've been putting stuff in my mouth. What's going on in there? Well, he opens it up and puts a flashlight down there. Not only do I have a steelhead bone stuck in my uvula, that is also, the bottom of it is stuck on the back of my tongue. So it's like, it's in there kind of in a cross. I've swallowed again, and another fish bone has caught up against that. And now I have a crosshair of fish bones stuck in my throat. Let me tell you about how I developed my very sensitive gag reflex. It was with my dad holding onto my tongue with a towel and reaching in with tweezers to pull these bones out of my throat. I can't even brush my molars without gagging now, you guys. This is a serious thing. Like, if I'm going to eat fish, it's a full hour-and-a-half meal, because I got to go through and make sure there's no bones in it. I cannot just eat fish and trust somebody else, is what I'll say. And Jeramie, I wonder, how do you respond to that story? Are you wiggling in your seat at all? Because Amanda is having a rough time over here listening to this story.
Can I unhear it?
No,
Oh, my God.
I don't know. I guess I would just say suck it up, Buttercup.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
thank you.
I don't know.
I guess so. That's one that that's a story that my family will tell for eternity. Like, and it's funny because you hear my mom, my dad, and my sister tell that story. It's a real funny story. When it comes from me, it's borders on traumatic.
Listen, sometimes suck it up is okay. Sometimes you're just learning that you have a shellfish allergy. And I wish my dad would have considered that the first time I tried shrimp, that maybe it wasn't that I just don't like it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, listen, to those of you listening, I'm sorry if I just traumatized you like I did Amanda, but it happened to me. And now I've got a little bit of a rough time eating fish. But that shouldn't stop me. Fish is a healthy thing, and we should be eating more of it, just like Jeramie is. And fellas, I really appreciate the time here. Kleich, I'm sorry we didn't get to talk to you for very long, my friend, but we really do appreciate you stopping by. I know you got some electrical stuff going on at the house there. That's never any fun. I hope they can get that worked out for you today, my friend.
Yeah, they're doing their job. They're doing really good right now. So
good.
I knew they were coming over in advance. I just didn't know it was going to go this direction. So we'll just see what happens. So.
Well, it's a good thing they got a good supervisor there, right?
Right.
I'm drinking. I'm drinking. I am drinking and firing up a smoker as we speak.
There you
Not
go.
a big one, but I'm firing up one.
Well, we got we got to get out of your hair then, because you sound like you got stuff to do.
I'll send send you pictures.
All right. We'll put them up on the website. Let's get to some final thoughts here, guys. Again, Jeramie, Polar Bear, and Kleich, thank you so much for being on here today. Final thoughts segment. Jeramie, since this is your first time on the show, we basically clear some space for people to say whatever they want. These can be shout-outs. You can shout out family members, other people on the staff. You can just share a recipe with us, whatever you want to do. Polar Bear and Matt are veterans at this, so we're going to go ahead and go to them first. Polar Bear, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing. Final thoughts for us today before we let you get back to it.
I always do enjoy being on here with you, Marcus, and yeah, it's hard to come up with a lot of the final thoughts. Just back to the you and that fish thing, you were so young to have that happen to you too.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, when you are 12 and that happens to you, every fish that you look at for the next 5 years is going to do that to you. It's not, there's a chance that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It happened to me twice in the same night. Trust me, it's going to happen to everybody. We're all choking on fish bones. That was my...
And you're trusting that they fillet it right, and that's why I'm very careful when I eat fillets.
Yep. And listen, I'd been eating fish that my dad caught for my whole life up to that point. It never happened before. It was a fluke deal. I can't fault him as a fisherman. He's the one that brought home the damn steelhead. The only thing I've ever caught trying to reel in a steelhead is a stick. So I'm happy that he was able to do that, and I think that this was just an oversight. But I appreciate you not telling me to suck it up like Jeramie did, but I also think I could have probably sucked it up a little bit and maybe ate another fish. But Polar Bear, thanks, man. It's always good to have you on here. And during your final thoughts segment, you always thank the podcast. So that's easy, man. You can just keep doing that. Keep making Amanda and I feel like the most important people in the room.
I try to, yep.
Well, we appreciate your time as always. Kleich, short one for you today, man, but final thoughts before we let you go.
Thanks for having me on the podcast. I know it was short-lived, but, I need short appearance, and then everybody ooh and ahs, especially Jeramie. Right, Gravy?
That's right.
Thanks for having me on. To all the drivers out there, keep the dirty side down. To the Three Stooges, it's going and banging, the Three Stooges, me, Polar Bear, and Jason Crahagen, we're all still kicking it out here. Jeramie, he's an amazing cook in the truck, so keep that going. We always love to see those pictures. And Marcus and Amanda, thanks for having us around.
Of course, man. Of course. We love it when you guys come around. And Kleich, it's been a while since we've had you on the show, so it's good to get you back in here, man.
Yeah, just let me know. I enjoy being on here. I wish I could have been on for the whole episode because I could have got Jeramie in a whole other direction.
We'll save that for another episode because that I got to get my hooks into whatever that is. So always good to have you, Kleich.
If you want to get your hooks in that.
Well, I'm a ask for forgiveness, not permission, guy. So it's gonna happen, Jeramie. That's just the way it goes. But final thoughts from you, Jeramie. Thank you for making your first appearance today on the show, man. I'm glad we got you in here, especially because I'd actually met you in person, and I want to get everybody that I've met in person on this show. So thanks for being here, man. Final thoughts from you before we let you go today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here and giving my 2 cents on cooking. And I don't really know what else to say.
Hey, man, that's just fine. The final thoughts don't have to be anything. What's the word I'm looking for? It doesn't have to be like groundbreaking or earth shattering. I just want to give you guys a chance.
I hope someday that your guests look up some old Jerry Springer final thoughts and just chirp those off at you at the end of a podcast because I will die laughing. It would be so funny.
Well, and the other thing too is like the final thoughts segment. I've also had some drivers announce some things on the final thoughts segment, which, last week we had a birth announcement on the show. It's kind of a final thoughts thing. I think you guys should just raise the bar every single time to where at episode 200, we say, all right, Matt Kleich, final thoughts. And he goes, I'm running for president. Right. And we just, something like that. Like, just bring it a step up every single time, and it'll never be boring, fellas. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here today.
All right. Thank you, Marcus. Thank you, Amanda.
Big thanks to Polar Bear, Jeramie Countryman, and about, I would say, 1/3 of the same amount of thanks going to Matt Kleich. Obviously dealing with some stuff today. We're very happy to have him join us, even if it is just for a few minutes, because that's the guy running the pit at the Jamboree. So we got to have him on here, Amanda. Always fun to talk to those guys. Does it surprise you, because this is your first Cooking in the Cab episode here on the LTP, are you surprised by the quality and just the things that they can actually pull off out there in, as Polar Bear so eloquently put it, a 6x8 cell?
I'll be honest with you. The time I did working for a classic rock station, I met a lot of dudes that really know how to throw down in the kitchen, no matter what that kitchen looks like. So I think I was just more excited to get some inspiration.
Sure. Well, we've got a little inspiration here packaged up in a couple of recipes for you. I wanted to find one, like always, that you guys can make in the cabin. Didn't need any prep work from home whatsoever. The only thing that you're going to need is your crock pot and a chuck roast. And what we're making today are called poor man's burnt ends. Now, typically, if you're going to have burnt ends, you need a brisket, because you're using the decal of that brisket to make burnt ends. We've all had them. They're all phenomenal. They will, if you ate them every day, you would die at the age of 25. But it's a nice little treat here. And maybe I should apologize to Jeramie Countryman and Polar Bear right off the bat, because there is some sugar in this one. Maybe I didn't think that through all the way. I don't think a lot of things through all the way. Shouldn't surprise you by this point. If you're using the whole chuck roast, I want you to go ahead and throw it into your crock pot with your favorite barbecue dry rub on it. And if I may recommend some of the Pity Spice smoked salt and pepper, talk to Matt Kleich, he'll hook you up. And you're going to want to add the seasoned meat to the bottom of the crock pot, pop a lid on that sucker, and let it go on low for 7 to 8 hours. You don't need anything else other than a seasoned chunk of meat in there. After it hits 195 internal, go ahead and take it off, let it rest for a little bit, maybe 5 minutes, and cut it up into 1-inch cubes. Now, we are going back into the crock pot with our favorite barbecue sauce. And if you're like me, probably mix a couple of them. I can already see Kleich doing this with Korean barbecue sauce, and I think I'm going to try it next too, because that would be amazing. Toss your burnt ends in the barbecue sauce to coat them fully, and then cook them for an additional 45 to 60 minutes on low. This is going to help that barbecue sauce sort of caramelize a little bit and turn into that real sticky sweet that you're used to with your burnt ends if you make them kind of in the traditional way. Now, there's one more thing that you can add to this if you want to, and if you're looking to prep this at home and then take it on the road with you, you could sear this piece of chuck roast on every side for a couple of minutes beforehand. It's going to lower the cooking time in general, probably by an hour or two. But if you really want to seal in that flavor and get some of that bark on the outside of your meat that you're used to from burnt ends, you can also do that. Or if you're like Jeramie Countryman, you got a gas grill out there, you could do that on the road as well. But poor man's burnt ends, this was a Super Bowl party favorite for me. If you've got a group of people, you serve them in one of those big tin pans like you saw Jeramie's fish dish in, and you just give toothpicks out. You don't even have to have forks. Everybody grab a toothpick and start stabbing burnt ends, Amanda. It's heaven.
Sounds delicious. Sounds amazing. All right, I'm going to hit you with the crock pot, and I'm going to hit you, not literally, so don't worry.
That's good, because they're heavy. Those big ceramic things, that would knock me out.
Sir, okay, first of all, I'm on my third crock pot in this marriage, and I'm saying in this marriage because both the other ones that broke were clearly not my fault and were my husband's fault. But I love a good crock pot meal. I love on days where I'm busy working and I want to make sure my husband has a nice dinner when he gets home, even though I'm not going to be around. So that's usually like my go-to for when I throw something in the crock pot. But I will tell you, I love a good comfort meal, and chicken and dumplings is one of those meals that if you just don't have the time, but you have time to let it sit in a crock pot, listen, can of cream of chicken soup, pour the soup into the crock pot, fill that can with water, pour that into the crock pot. You're going to throw in some boneless, skinless chicken breasts. I don't care how much you put in. If you want to put in some diced onion, you go ahead. You don't have to. You can keep it super minimal. Just put the cream of chicken soup in there with the water, the chicken. You let that cook for 7 hours on low. And then in that last hour, you're going to take yourself a can of biscuits. It can be crescent rolls. It can be regular biscuits. And you're going to break little pieces off. And you're going to drop it into the crock pot. literally like 30 minutes later, you're going to have chicken and dumplings. It's going to be ready to go. Have some paprika on you or some hot sauce. Delicious. And it's so easy. It's like insane easy, but it's like, like a cheap version of the real thing. The other thing I'm going to say, because we did talk about Project 61 and we are talking to drivers who, diabetes is prevalent in this industry. So I'm going to teach you guys a thing that is life-saving for me, has absolutely changed my life. Somebody bought me an air fryer a couple of years ago. Okay. And when you guys are talking about things like making salmon, you can make yourself some delicious salmon that is cooked to absolute perfection in a crock pot in 5 minutes. So throw your veggies in there, 5 minutes. Like anything and everything can be made in a crock pot, and it can be made in a more healthy way, not crock pot, in an air fryer, than by making it anywhere else. Even bacon, you're not cooking your bacon in the grease, you're letting the grease fall off. So, we talk about make one change and see if that can help along the way. Start trying to find ways to use an air fryer to cook, and you're going to find that you're just eating a lot healthier. Also, my go-to for salmon, if you ever want to try it, if you're not freaked out by fish, Marcus, or anybody else that's listening and wants to try salmon, nothing is more delicious to me than taking a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of brown sugar, and some soy sauce, and you mix it together and you make a nice little glaze. It is delicious. And I learned it from, God, what was that? Chubby Chicks workout place, Curves. Old radio endorsement when I lived in Wyoming, but the recipes stuck with me forever, and that is just absolutely delicious.
I heard a little thing about Curves the other day that they've gone like pretty much close to bankrupt. I wonder if it was the name they chose. I always thought that was just a little bit of a weird business decision, calling your gym Curves. I don't know.
If I'm coming there to lose my curves, you're planting the wrong seeds here,
exactly. It should be called anti-curves or something like that. I don't know.
Twigs.
But, there you go. Well, I love the air fryer advice there, because I think it's really important. I have one. They come in all shapes and sizes. You can get combo ones that have different features that you can use. Super versatile is the best thing I can say about it. And by the way, never was a more Ohio recipe shared on here than crock-pot chicken and dumplings. I mean, that is straight out of Ohio if I ever have heard it. Yeah, I've got some extended family. My mom's family comes from Ohio, and that's something that my grandma on my mom's side made us chicken and dumplings before. I know mom's made it from time to time, but that's, we haven't been out in the Midwest for decades, so that's probably why we haven't had chicken and dumplings for a while. But I'm going to try that one, because that's like, 4 or 5 ingredients, super easy in the crock pot, just not worried about it all day. I love it. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for us here. Wrap it up in tinfoil and stick it in the manifold. This episode is fully baked. That didn't make a lick of sense, but it was fun to say. Thank you so much for being here today. Amanda, thank you for bringing us the recipes and for all the great information on Project 61. Before we say the tagline and get out of here, give the drivers the Project 61 info one more time so they know where to get the app and where the website is and all that good stuff.
Absolutely. Your website's going to be project-61.org. If you want to get the app, you can go to any app store. No matter what the type of phone you have, you're going to be able to find it in the app store. Just search for Project 61 or Off Shift. It'll pop right up for you.
There you go. Get it downloaded and start turning the health journey around today. This has been the Liquid Trucking Podcast. I've been Marcus. That's been Amanda. You've been awesome. Keep the shiny side up and stay safe out there, drivers. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks for tuning in and being the gold standard of drivers on the road. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and tune in next week for another episode of the Liquid Trucking Podcast.
Interested in finding out more about what it takes to bring a podcast like the Liquid Trucking Podcast to your fleet? Bulldog provides tailor-made top-to-bottom podcast production services. We'll meet your terminal staff, connect with your drivers, and bring you the content you want your drivers to hear. Type bulldog.works into your browser to connect with us and learn more about what we can do for your fleet. That's bulldog.works for podcasts, tenacious recruiting, and more.